Hey, hey. Right, do you want to request? And I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can add you, or do you want me to? I'll invite to join. Actually, Penge, just adding you now. Invite and Peachy.
Oi, oi.
One sec. I'm just inviting Peachy. Invite. Done. Right. Yes.
The
Yes.
beach.
Yes.
Hi.
Finally.
Hello.
Underscore Peachy underscore tits underscore. Hold tight. Is Penge joined?
He's there.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
oh.
Hello, and thank you for having me again, by the way. Thought I'd say hi.
It's taken us about 14 hours to get you on. Thanks for being with us today, Peachy.
It's all right. Sitting looking at Frost Grave minis and Oathmark minis at the moment, just perusing the interwebs, as you do.
And how are you keeping this happy Wednesday?
Oh, great. Thank you. Got a video sent to my patrons, so that's that job out the way. Been sat with my lad watching Harry Potter because he's a fan of that now. He's moved from Star Wars to Harry Potter and back again, so he's all over the place. It's great. Love it. But there's miniatures games for all of it, so I'm happy with that. So
Victory! We got there. Bloody hell.
Four is the magic number.
I thought everyone would be just stuck staring at this ugly mug all bloody night.
Fruit de la Sol. It's 4, it's not 3.
Look at all of it.
How are we all?
Good. I'm going to close that down so it's not so bright in my face. There we are.
Wicked.
Peachy, you could say.
Grand. Right. So, I'll jump in. Thank you very much for coming and joining us, Mr. Peach, for the second time, as you pointed out. We appreciate you taking your time and effort. I will say I am a little bit disappointed I don't see a suit of armour behind you like we had last time. You did spoil us with that, but I won't hold it against you. I see it. Yeah.
There's some posters there, I think, as well, of people in armour. The Bretonians. They're there. I can see them.
This is the best spot for Instagram Live, I'm afraid. If I move like 2 feet that way, no reception. Don't get it. It's weird. So
It's Instagram. It's the joys of Instagram. So I'm going to do a very quick couple of shout outs. Just get the formalities out of the way as per any podcast. So a quick shout out to our sponsors of Boltstorm Wargaming in Leek, the Kickstarter Elements of Power, to Dave Hammer on Instagram, who's doing a charity raffle even, for Lizardman Army for an autism charity, and also Mike Moans, who is also doing a special charity drive for, I believe, the same charity. All brilliant causes. Give them guys a look. They're great guys. Cool. Right. So there's the quick formalities out of the way. I'm getting so good at hosting now. It's amazing.
You mentioned
the last
as well.
Sorry, Rich.
You mentioned the plant behind you as well.
Oh yeah, the fake plant. Shout out to the fake plant. Yeah. So please feel free to get involved in the chat tonight. But first of all, let's start off. When we last had you on, you were part of the Paint and Face.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
God, it was that long ago. Jeez.
It was, yeah.
Time has gone real fast.
I was going to say, yeah, time has gone fast. You're now striking out on your own. You've got your Patreon, your YouTube, you're part of your new podcast team.
Jugs.
Which I get in trouble at work for watching Jugs on YouTube, so no, I better stop watching it.
I saw Louise. That was Louise's name. I had no say in the matter, so I was like, cool, whatever, sure.
Cool. So you're a very busy man at the moment. How's it all going?
Good. Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it. There's lots to learn. I'm still making loads of mistakes. Every time I do a video, I put it out. I literally watch myself for 3 days as I'm editing and go, that's enough of me now. And then I put it into the wilderness, and then I get loads of comments like, your audio's a bit quiet, or there's a weird jump bit. I'm like, oh no, I hate myself. I hate this video even more now. So yeah, it's good. It's enjoyable. Like I say, it's a steep learning curve, but Living my best life, I'd say at the minute. It's good, but I keep he's in the chat at the moment. I just saw James Marvin appear. He's one of the guys from Workshop I know. I've been meaning to have him round to help me out with my videography and set up in the background, because it's all right. It's bare bones, but I'm sure with his skills it could be better. So at some point I'll try and get him over. It's just full on. I think I find at the moment it's like a Monday I film, Tuesday I do a bit of filming like to camera and bit of voiceover, because I try and edit a lot of the painting stuff on a Monday night. So I've got me filming for painting. I try and edit that on the Monday night so I can then do all my face camera voiceovers, then mix that in there. So Monday, Tuesday is quite full on editing, and then Wednesday's like polishing, trying to get it to the patrons, and then inevitably the patrons are like, there's a big mistake. I'm like, cool, thanks. I'll fix that. I've got Thursday, and then I usually put a video out on a Friday. So it's good though. It keeps me busy. It keeps me out of trouble. Keeps me streets, as is the way. It doesn't.
So when we had you on last time, and this is something I was thinking of quite recently. Dunk up there asked you, how the conversation at home went when you were explaining, right, I tell you what, I'm going to leave this guaranteed wage. I've got a workshop and I'm striking out with 2 other guys on my own. So how did the conversation then go to say, right, I'm leaving these 2 guys and I'm doing it solo now? That must have been quite fun.
Well, we talked about some stuff before. I don't want to go too much into it, but it was very much like I probably wouldn't be like any kind of partner in the business, which is fine because it's Pat's business. There was no room really for like a wage increase, which was already low, which is fine because he wanted to get an editor. But I have a child and things to pay for, so I can't really survive on like less than 20k after tax and stuff like that for the foreseeable. So I was like, well, all right, I'll go and try and do my own thing. And they've got their own direction of stuff they want to do. I've got the own direction of my stuff, and that's kind of where I've been angling it. Really, is like I've always wanted to do a broad spectrum of paint guides where they're very 40k centric, which is cool because people like that, and it's very evident when you do a Star Wars thumbnail, not many people watch it, you change it for a Space Marine thumbnail, and then you get loads of views. You're like, oh, okay, cool. This is the world I live in right now, is it? So yeah, I can see why people want to concentrate on the 40k side of things, but I like to do a bit of everything. I mean, if I can, I'll try and angle every video, because I've done one this week for Fallout figures, because Fallout's quite popular. But I'm not making it about Fallout. I'm making it about painting Rust. I just wanted an excuse to paint some Brotherhood of Steel. Done a couple of the T45, I think it's T41 suits. I can't remember. It's one of the plastic kits anyway. There's that many styles of armor now for Brotherhood of Steel and power suits and stuff. So it's one of them. It's the plastic kit. So yeah, I just get to branch out and do all the fun things I've always wanted to do, and then some of them don't do very well, which is fine. I get to do a video on Sharp or Frostgrave or Silver Bayonet, and then I've got an idea for a range of videos called Peach on Gangs, where I just basically channel my inner Ross Kemp and talk about Necromunda gangs. So that's going to be a series of videos to come, which will be fun. So yeah, but yeah, it's good. It was, I think Pat was probably expected anyway, because originally only hired me for a year, which is fine. So, and hopefully their channel carries on doing all right, and hopefully I build up a following as well, which would be cool.
Yeah, you definitely get the hairline to do a kind of Ross Kemp parody situation. You know what I mean?
If you need someone to be the filthier Grant, Dunk will volunteer. He's
yeah, pretty much, twins, peas out of a pod, me and Ross Kemp, and Jason Statham, of course. I'm respondent's answer to Jason Statham. When I take like Louise and Rob to events and stuff, I just drive really badly. Try not to
transporter, just taking paint from one place to another.
Exactly.
It's a package, a very expensive package. Keep your 5 rules: 1 thick coat. It has to be a shade of peach, and when I get there, paint.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. They're my 3 rules. Don't change the rules. Love it.
Cool. And I'll actually pass over to Rich now.
Yeah, I mean, I've got tons of questions. I mean, I work for Green Stuff World, which are, they're really free and easy with kind of the content that I'm doing. I mean, I kind of look at things with different eyes now. I mean, I've been looking at all your stuff. I followed you from Games Workshop, War on the TV, painting phase, and all the rest of it. I mean, you kind of answered some of it in the first couple of minutes, but it's, you know, who decides the content? Are you doing it? You know, now you're doing it on your own. And also, like, I know how long content takes. I mean, you take photos, you know, you're editing the photos in between painting, you're cleaning you set down, you then spend 2 days editing, you put it out, it either gets a good or a bad response. I mean, I've done everything from Space Hulk to AOS to, you know, whatever. I mean, what I'm kind of asking is, do you have a heavy influence in making the content? Do you do the editing and everything else? Because I do it all myself. You know, what you do, I find really inspirational, because you're using a full range, you know, and like you said, it's going on your own give you the opportunity to do that.
So it's all, most of it is like pretty much what I want to try and do as a video. So as content goes, I have ideas of stuff. I like to put like a poll out and some suggestions on Discord and Patreon. So I've got these ideas. The Fallout one was actually a lot of the patrons, just because I put like a couple of ideas for videos, and a lot were like, just do something Fallout because that's really popular at the moment. That might get the clicks. I was like, you know what, that's a great idea. And then I'm like, oh, thumbnails and title, you know, maybe that not many people, because Star Wars is pretty big and so is Marvel. But when you do a Star Wars or Marvel paint guide, hardly anyone watches it. So I'm like, oh, is it going to be the same? So that's why I've angled it at Rust, like 3 different ways, 3 really quick, easy ways of doing Rust, using the materials that are available to the layman, so you don't need a million coats. But I have an idea of stuff I want to do, put polls out, and then sometimes they do change a bit, or influenced by the people that technically pay my wages as well. So I have this kind of like little rule in my head, which is in a month I want to do something 40k, something Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, something sci-fi, and something fantasy or historical that's not workshop. So I usually do 1 video a week. If I know I'm going to be away, like a couple of weeks ago, I was like Liam Dempsey's on his channel, and I was a bit of traveling back and forth, and I was doing the podcast with Suggs and Rob. I knew I wouldn't get much filming done at all, so I just did a whole bunch of shorts on the Monday, and then edited them. So, you know, like quick little paint guide. So that's my other avenue as well. Just do a bunch of shorts.
Are you doing the editing as well? You're doing all
Yes, yeah. At the moment, I'm fully editing, fully filming. I'm my own social media manager.
People don't see the legs under the water, do they? They see the swan. They see the drive scenery. They don't see the 6 hours taken to film it. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
I mean, I was going to say, I've got some massive projects I want to do, but it's like, I don't think I could do those in the early 3 days of the week. I think that I'm going to need longer. And I know my patrons will be like, yeah, take as long as you need, because that'd be cool. So I know I don't have any worries about that, but it's more like, will I get forgotten on YouTube? So I need to put something out there, keep the action going.
This is going to here as well. You know, it's good to see like how much work goes into it, and you know, you've got to manage your time, haven't you?
Yeah. Tell you what I'm not good at is I'm still waiting to find out if I have a bank account, a business bank account. So at the moment, I can't pay myself any money, so because it's all in Patreon and all on YouTube, because I've got nowhere to put it.
Paints, do the peachy paints. We'll all buy them, even if they don't play.
Yeah,
especially
a range of 50. I'm sure someone will probably take that idea.
The one as well, and the not Duncan one. I'd definitely buy.
Yeah, 1.5 thin coats.
1.5 thin coats. I like it. Yes, that just so close to being 2, but not quite there. I like it.
So, I mean, with the content as well, what's the most rewarding? I mean, you know, you do loads of content. I find that if I do a tutorial and I get one message that somebody's used it, that's really great. Like you're saying, you know, you do a Space Marine one, you kind of know it's going to do well. Is it something that's kind of, you know, like the sci-fi stuff, do you find that more rewarding, or do you just find that people are using you where you paint? You know, what do you get the biggest buzz off from sharing your content?
It's a tricky one, because I think each video is a little bit different. I get different like buzzes out of it, but I guess if I was to take one thing away from it, and I had this with the painting phase as well, was when I did a paint guide, I'm aiming at a certain level, and when I see people painting to that exact same level, that's super sort of rewarding, because I look at their models and go, that could just be one of the ones I've done. Some people will say that's because your level's not very good. I'm like, well, no, because I've aimed it at people that can't paint a golden demon, so I'm okay with this. I made my peace with that plenty of years ago.
Is that the buzz? Is that the buzz?
Yeah,
is that
I think so. Seeing like people share this stuff on Instagram, Twitter, and go, "Oh, look, I followed your guide and I did this." I'm like, it looks the same. Amazing. Because it means I've done it right, that they were able to copy it to the letter, that it looks the same. Because, you know, when you see like the owl being drawn, it's like 1, 2, 3 finished. Most people get to the third one and go and give up. So seeing people.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the small nuances as well with our stuff as well. Like, I watched a couple of the shorts, and it's like, I think, you know, like the green and the blue bit of scenery. Yeah, they're only really small tutorials. They're so easy to follow.
Yeah,
but it's like, you know, dry brushing the top a bit more, leave a little bit at the bottom. It's just a really achievable thing to get such a great effect. And, you know, I think that's what's really nice, is to get something that's achievable and simple for people.
Yeah.
And it's rewarding. And I mean, I've used loads of your tutorials over the years.
Good. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's always like, keep it simple. You can overcomplicate. I've done it myself. I've overcomplicated paint jobs, but I think you can get so much out of just following basic steps and like doing one thing, like an all over dry brush of the same color, which ties everything together. And I still will say, like, out of my Warcry warbands, my favorite one was the one I just used primarily with contrasts. It was like 2 or 3 contrasts over like metallics and stuff. And it took like 3 hours to paint the 8 members of the warband. They're quite basic.
Right. Yeah.
But it's really quick. It's 3 hours. It's an evening. I've done a warband in an evening, and the contrast, as it's dried, it's pulled away from the edges and highlighted everything. So it's like minimal effort, maximum effect kind of thing. And, you know, weirdly, it's my favourite warband that I've painted. But there's no highlights on it, which is mad. But yeah.
Right, so I'm ready to jump in here. So we can let Richard take a Xanax, which is his fucking mile a minute. So you were with Games Workshop for like 20 odd years. You were with the painting phase for just over the year. So when are you going to be leaving yourself?
This is it. I mean, you know, it's radically like declined, doesn't it? Actually, yeah. When we look at like the percentages, so I should have stopped by now, maybe. Oh no, I not even thought about this.
Like Inception, peachy within a peachy.
I think what will happen is my son will kill me and take over the channel, and then it becomes his channel. I think that's the next step. Yeah, that's how it's going to be. Just get murdered by my own child on live. That's really dark. I went in a real dark place then.
It's good that you've gone there.
I kind of get what you're saying though with the content stuff, because we obviously lost one of our hosts a few months ago, and because I think he wanted to concentrate more on 40k and the tabletop aspect and that sort of stuff, which is totally fine. And myself and Jesse, we're more into like finding different people, even though we've had you on twice now. So I totally get the context. Because like we could have you on, I can see it now, we're going to have like 25, 30 people. We're going to peak at about 35, 40 people. But then next week we'll have somebody else on, because we've done it all. And we'll probably only get 2 or 3 people watching.
Yeah.
So I totally get what you're saying with you want to do things your own way, and sometimes that freedom frees you up a lot more. So, but what made you tie in with Jugs, as it's called now? What kind of brought that? What brought that on?
I always, since Louise started in the marketing department, I say marketing department because you had Warhammer Plus and then Warhammer TV, the YouTube content. So they kind of divided it as 2 separate things. Louise was with Warhammer Plus, I was with the YouTube channels, doing stuff for YouTube. But we sat close to each other. We got on like a house on fire, and I kind of knew her before anyway, because we did like a few hangout and hobbies, and we did like some Blackstone Fortress games and stuff. But working with Louise, because she was like next door when it came to the filming studio, so I was always in there giving her like advice, worldly advice of like the Peach has been around for a little while, and she'd come and sit and listen whilst I'm doing mine and give some pointers and stuff. So we'd built up a great relationship, like from a working point of view and a friendship point of view. And we, you know, we're into very similar kind of hobby related stuff, not just like miniatures, but like from like a fantasy art kind of thing. And then we did like a few of these videos, like the Imperium one, and some other like fun little videos. And it's just like, oh, I really like working with Louise. It's great. It's good fun. I miss this. So during the painting phase, we did the chat with Louise, and I was like, this was great because it was really cathartic for me, just having that time with her, just chatting, because she is manic and she is all over the place when it comes to like subjects. She doesn't have conversations like normal people. She's like 10 conversations ahead, and you're like still trying to catch up with the 2 or 3 that you've not quite answered yet.
Oh, I've watched her on Twitch. It's like you need an acid to watch that sometimes.
I mean, that's my sort of girl. Do you know what I mean? I think we're in sync, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like I'm so used to it. I love it. It's like I suddenly get all buzzed. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. But then when I left to do my own thing, she's not really been a fan of like doing podcasts, and coming onto the painting phase one with me was like the sort of like the first step out of a shell to do that. And we're just like, oh, it'd be really good if we just did that again, just chatting and just shooting the shit. And she was like, yeah, I'd love to do that. So that's kind of how it happened. Hey, Ollie from Broadsword Wargaming. Hi. So yeah, it was more, I think we both it's a play date, as Rob calls it. It's a play date, an official play date. He sticks on record and we just chat and talk nonsense. So yeah, it's our way of just socializing. So I see her every week, both her and Rob, and have a great time. Rob's awesome. He's done all the legwork, really. He's like sorted out all the equipment, sorted out all the logos and stuff. Obviously, Tom, their graphic designer, has probably like done a lot of the work there as well. Can't dismiss him.
With the paint pot.
Yeah. So, oh yes, yeah.
Totally that. Yeah, Peachy's
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I love it. So he's a very clever man too. So they're just, yeah, it's a great excuse just to hang around with people I like. So which when you're on your own for like the first half of the week doing just cabin fever, you're like, I need to see a human again. I mean, my wife and child kind of count, but
yeah.
Yeah, we're all doing the same, aren't we? We all did the head shake there. Yeah, they're great. They are. We love them dearly.
And they're all saying that, and I guarantee that none of our wives or children are actually near us when we're shaking our heads as well. Nobody's actually.
I can hear my wife on the phone downstairs, probably slagging me off as we speak. It's been only night, and he's talking to those guys about Warhammer again.
What's been the biggest challenge? Obviously, growing yourself. What's been the biggest challenge? What is it? The filming or the editing for yourself since you started doing your own thing?
So I kind of understand editing anyway to a certain degree, because I did a little bit when I was at college, and then when I was looking to leave workshop, I used my phone and I was doing like a couple of little videos on there, and I was passing it to people for feedback. So when it came to like cutting footage up, I kind of understood it. But everyone says use Premiere Pro because it's a really good system, and I've come to learn that there's a reason why there's other ones out there, and I'm sure they're great, but the Premiere Pro is like a lot of people recommend it. So I was a bit like, oh, and I did a couple of like tutorials, signed up to like some what would you call it, like a content creators sort of, like they talk through all these steps and tell you like things. It's like pre-recorded sort of like modules for education stuff. Mm-hmm. And then every time I edit, I'll be like, a real simple one. Anyone that knows Premiere Pro knows this is the easiest thing in the world. But to me at the time, I had no idea. And all I wanted to do was put a picture to go over the top of like some footage when I'm talking. And I was like, because I'm used to Photoshop and stuff, I'm like, where's image? Where's image? Look for image and look at the top bar. Try and look for insert image. I was like, where's insert image? So I was like, oh God. So I went onto YouTube, typed in how to insert an image into Premiere Pro. Straight away, a 2-minute video comes up. And probably about a minute and a half of that is just the person introducing and then ending the video. The 30 seconds is, what you do is you find your photo and you drag it in the timeline. I was like, oh, it's as easy as that. Okay. So yeah, a lot of it was just me looking at YouTube videos, because Premiere Gal does a lot of like really easy. And I guess from like my point of view, I'm now looking at these going, well, I'm the person now that I'm aiming my videos at. So they're like the Peachy doing their videos to do real basic, simple things that a lot of people take for granted or assume people know, like they assume knowledge. But they're like, we don't assume this because a lot of people don't know how to use this program. So I'm like, there's something there for me to learn, because I'm going through a journey of learning. But now I'm like, I need to make sure I be very aware of like the content I'm trying not to be too jargony, try not to be too sort of like dismissive or have assumptions, because someone might not know how to. So actually, I should probably do a video on how to shake a can and spray a model, because there's people don't know how to do it.
I really like that about your videos as well. It's like the 4 sort of steps. It's like when you're watching something, it's like you're talking about the law or how to paint space marines. You do a little introduction, going, what are space marines? These are these. Why are we using these colours? It's this way. And even when you're putting your base coats on, it's not patronising. It's just assuming that anybody can jump in, and that's what I really like. It's universal, and that's what's really great about your videos, especially like the law ones, or like kind of create your own warband and things like that.
I want to do more of those, because they're weird, because they're really easy to film, but they take an age to edit, because of putting all. Because you stick an image on is really quick, but you just don't want a flat image. You want it to like maybe pan in a little bit, pan to the side. So it's all those little things when you've got like 40, 50 images, just making those a little bit more interesting.
This is a 4 hours later.
But I mean, from a filming point of view, I just sit there in front of the camera and just go, oh, and then there's this thing I like, and then there's this thing I like, and this is cool, and this is cool. Obviously, I have a script, so I don't go too off topic, because I'm terrible for that. But yeah, they're quick to film, long to edit, whereas the paint ones take a little bit longer to film, but are fairly quick to. I end up having like 3 hours of footage, and I use 10 minutes of it, because I'm just taking snippets here and there. So yeah, fair amount. It's probably not quite 10 hours. Feels like it.
It's a really good insight though, because for myself as just like the general viewing public, like you say, and you don't know how to do something, YouTube's the first place. And I always use it if it's anything car related or garden related, because they're two things I'm absolutely useless at. And you watch a video for 5 minutes on how to change a light bulb in a car, and you're like, oh, I just pop that catch, insert it, and done. And like you say, it's just the vast bulk of it is, oh, I'm Pete the mechanic or something. But it's stuff I think a lot of us as the general hobbyists take for granted. And it's a lot of effort that you're putting into it, obviously.
Yeah, I always try and make sure I cover the mistakes as well, because I think that's key. Because when I was at workshop, it was deemed as like poor quality. You're not very good if you've made a mistake, and it's like, well, no, because mistakes happen so much. When you have like any kind of product, it has a troubleshooting guide. It has a troubleshooting guide because things go wrong, and if things go wrong, you'd like to know how to stop it from being wrong. So why should painting be any different? So there are times when I generally make mistakes, so I'm just a bit slapdash with my paint. I'm like, oh, got a bit of brown from the belt onto the cloth. I'll sort that later. And then I make sure I show that footage of me sorting it later, or like within a couple of minutes and stuff. Because some people that are new to hobby will get super stressed again, but everyone shows it super neat, and now I've not done it super neat, and now I'm a terrible human being because I can't keep in the lines. And it's like, no, mate, trust me, when I'm painting, it's everywhere. It's not until probably like the last 2 steps when it all comes together. And I think it's when you do those cuts, like with like the workshop video guides, it's like, and it still annoys me now. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, swoosh, model's completed, all the gold's done. Now we're gonna be on to the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, swoosh, completed. It's like, that's not how it works. I like to try and show the back of the model, some like really awkward bits and stuff like that, because it can be challenging depending on the model. So yeah, I think that's key, really, is showing those. And
up yellow, spend 4 hours glazing it, and then get black on the yellow.
Yeah.
You always see these Imperial Fish tutorials, don't you? You know, orange contrast. It looks perfect. You know what I mean? And it's like with me trying to paint eyes. They end up looking like they've got goggles on. There's so many layers. Yellow and orange can get knotted. Anyone who paints the Imperial Fish, big respect.
I don't know if
definitely
it was too harsh or patronising, but when I did one of the early Space Marine videos, like how to paint that, I split it into like, it was technically 3 videos, like the essentials, and then like the first half of the first founding and the second half of the first founding. And I was like, people find yellow really hard. I don't. I spray it yellow. And I do. Just spray it yellow.
Spray it yellow. Get the army painter dipping in. Done.
Yeah, pretty much.
And on to the next army.
And the thing I still can't quite get my head around. I've been using a lot of colour forge sprays because they match the base coats of.
Yeah, tons of them as well, isn't there?
What's sorry?
There's tons of them as well.
Yeah. It's literally, I think, for every base coat.
Forge stuff.
I'm just going to plug myself in because I just realised my batteries were about low. There we are. That's fine. Oh my days!
So-
Made a massive vibration.
That's a good way to end our stream. Oh, my charger's broken. I need to go.
Hey, ask me about the Colour Forge range. I'm going.
I'm trying. No, I love them. But yeah, this is the thing I find really weird is like they match their sprays so well to the base coats, and then the workshop ones are like you have to like really thin down. Like let's say you spray Mephiston red, you have to really thin down the pot of Mephiston red to then do a little coat over. Because if you make mistakes, the two colours don't match. And yeah, that's what I did with the yellow spaceman. I sprayed it yellow, picked out all the details. Where I made a mistake, I just got Avalon Sunset because it matched identically to Avalon Sunset, which is insane. It's like, why is there a random company that's not related to Workshop doing a better match?
I tried the AK ones. You get like 3 different nozzles with them.
You do, yes.
You spray fine, you spray deep. So I was like, oh, this is a bit of me. I'm going to grade my undercoat, right? I had to watch a YouTube video about how to get the freaking caps on. The first one I did, I tried a Gundam model, and it just ended like Mr. Blobby. Do you know what I mean? Put it, turn it upside down. I was like, give me Chaos Black any day of the week. The AK ones can get knotted.
Yeah. Sometimes
caps on, and I'll watch it.
Can you tell much of a difference between the two of them? Because I'm still like, sometimes I get like the yellow one or the black one. One's like supposed to be fine detail, one's supposed to be more of a broader spray.
Yeah, yellow one.
Sometimes I'm like, I can't tell. Is it? I don't know.
What are you trying to achieve with an undercoat? Which is fine. Surely it's just undercoat. Do you know what I mean? Might be a technical thing. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know.
Either way, Chaos Black every time.
Chaos Black. It's a good colour.
I'm going to jump in with a question from the chat here because I love it when the chat gets involved. Usually our chat is just a couple of people slagging each other off. So for it to have an actual general question for once is actually a really nice thing. Dead Dancer asks, what's the thing that you would love to talk about, but no one is actually asking you? It's a good question. That's a good question.
Interesting. Like, I mean, why is Sean Bean so hot? Maybe no one's asking questions about that.
Back to Sharp again, brilliant.
Sharp or names. That's the
point. Managed to get Sean Bean in. Managed to get him in. I had a weird dream about Sean Bean. I'll tell you that. Oh, no, I won't tell you because if I tell you, it won't come true. So I'm not going to tell you.
No, tell him.
What? I don't know. Like Napoleonics. Like, why is Napoleonics not as cool as it should be? There's every colour under the sun on every model. Their uniforms are probably because their uniforms are splendid and they're quite highly detailed. That's probably why, Peachy. Yeah, we'll move on.
Slanesh, mate, I've got you back here. Like, what's nobody asking you about? Why does nobody paint Slanesh? Like, you embrace it with open arms. You've done various tutorials on it. You've talked about the law, the different colours you can use, noise marines. Like, surely this is a playground for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe the models out there, I don't know, but you know, big up Sharp, big up Slanesh.
Yeah, it's probably all the gimp masks and strap-ons that probably put people off. I don't know.
Is that?
Too many.
What I put it down to.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, Slanesh.
Sean Grace in the chat there says too many tits. And considering that this is a good feed on point because I thought the other day.
Or is that about Slanesh?
Well, I don't. Probably me. But either way, considering the podcast with Louise is called Jugs, would you consider having the free boob lady from Total Recall as your unofficial mascot?
Yes, absolutely. Because you could have like is it a pasty? Whatever they call them. I don't know what they call the pasties. Yeah, you can have one of each of our faces.
We know about it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I'm glad you do.
Paint it with red skin to match the warband. Definitely.
Yes.
Red on.
Yeah. Yeah, she could be the mascot. Absolutely. Yeah.
And if that happens, I'll definitely not be able to watch it in work. I mean, I was down the innocent route thinking we're talking about like milk jugs or like water jugs or like, you know, that kind of thing. And I do have this idea that we should try and get a Toby jug of each of us. That would be funny.
There's a 3D printer out there. There's definitely a 3D printer out there that would make you watch. Definitely.
I mean, Rob's got a
teapot with your face on. Painted in impeachment and not Duncan.
Impeachment and not Duncan. Yeah, I was proud of those two. The rest were just weird.
Cool. Back up to you, Rich, mate.
I mean, this is just a basic one, really. I mean, again, I'm going into the content thing because I'm doing a similar thing. I mean, not on the same scale, but I'm making content. I'm working each week, trying to get stuff out there on a weekly basis. I'm painting what I want when I want to do it, all the rest of it. But
yeah,
I mean, I still lean towards looking at other people, and I'm still learning.
yeah,
and I surround myself with peers. And I'm not saying I nick people's content by any stretch, but who are you looking at? Do you ever see something that like? The question I'm asking is, if I get sent a load of paint, there's a development thing.
yeah.
Where, all the paint, you're trying to come up with something new. But, do you take influence from elsewhere, or do you just get sent something and it's all off your own back? I mean, whose tutorials are you using? Are you developing yourself? You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, man?
I mean, a lot of the stuff I do is just me painting it and coming up with my own ideas. But I am quite influenced by like the video stars are like Broadsword Wargame, like Ollie, because I guess we're peas in the same pod. I do like his style of his content.
Yeah, I'm not saying tutorials. I'm saying who inspires you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
plagiarism.
yeah.
We're not saying you plagiarise anyone.
Yeah.
I love Pete's stuff. I love like the mad conversions moving to like the paint jobs and stuff like that. It's really inspirational. It's a weird one because like a lot of the time my inspiration tends to come from like an image or like a paint job, and that could be something from Instagram that I've seen, or it could be something that I wandered past in like when I go to Bugman's or Warmer World and I look in the cabinets and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is
so weirdly, that's usually what influences my. I mean, like the War of the Roses thing. I did a video about knights in armor, and that influence was literally based off the fact that I've got a suit of armor behind me. Someone once mentioned about me, you should probably dress up in the armor at some point for a video. I was like, what happens if I do a video about painting armor? Oh, that in the same colours. What I should have done was probably done a Space Marine as well in that uniform, and I didn't think about that until after, and I was really annoyed with myself because that might have done a little bit better. But you live and learn. I don't want everything to have Space Marines on it. That will just become like dangerous if I'm not careful. Like,
but you know what you don't see though, right? And it was only because I watched a stupid video on it today on fucking YouTube. Was you don't see anybody doing tabletop Napoleonic battleship games, like kind of Master and Commander, Far Side of the World. That'd be pretty epic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did Mano, does that count?
Mano what? I mean, there's like the Silver Bayonet, you could like do like a small skirmish game using that and like make your own like deck of a ship, but then you could do like full-on fleet battles as well. I mean, there's all sorts of rules out there. I mean, Workshop even did Warm Historical. They did the Trafalgar rule set, so you could go full Master and Commander with that, but then you could do like a bigger one where it's an actual ship, because there's a pirate game that has plastic pirates and plastic pirate ships, and I forget what it's called. Someone probably in the chat remember. It's quite a new range of stuff, but that could work for that. Whatever the rule system is for that, you could probably have a look at that. Blood and Plunder, I want to say, but I don't think it's Blood and Plunder. It could be Blood and Plunder, something along the lines. But plastic pirates, plastic pirate ships, mega. It's like 20 quid for a pirate ship. It's huge. It's for 28 mil figs. Like 20 quid. It's like, what is going on? That's madness. I think it's 20 odd quid. I'm waffling. Someone intercede quick with a question.
So there's been a bit of controversy recently, right? I'm just dive into it, right? Because I love talking about this subject, right? Yeah. I just love talking about this subject, right?
Here we go. Mind out.
Been a bit of controversy with the old custodians getting old chips with being associated. Now, I've listened to 1.5 episodes of Jugs, and you were talking about, I think it was in the first episode, you were talking about like code names for like upcoming projects.
Yeah.
Would that have had were you aware of any like projects around about female custodies, or what would have been your nickname for the female custodies?
What would Golden Mama, I reckon. Yeah, I reckon so.
Aaron.
And what's your take on the whole female custodies thing? Are you for it or against it?
I don't give a shit. Because it's more like toy soldiers to paint. The way I see it is you can opt to not put the head on and put a different head on. But for me, as a person who is, I would say, has a huge issue with converting, For me, it's just more bits to convert with. There's more heads to use and swap. But I know there's like a lot of people that are very into the canon and the lore. And I agree, but the lore has changed so much over the years. Anyway, change is the constant of Games Workshop, whether you're in the business or in the books. Something I remember Tolkien once saying, I forget exactly when he said it, but it was definitely a thing he said, which is like a story should always change. He always wants his stories to be retold and slightly tweaked, because that's how like the old Vikings used to do it. They didn't write anything down. It was just the story would slowly but surely, or the saga would like evolve over time. And like you take like the Spartans, they talk about now, it was like probably 1,000 Spartans versus like 100,000 Persians, because they like to add noughts on the enemies and take noughts away from theirs. So because it made it look good. So stories change as time goes on. So I think that's fine.
It's like the Battle of Barnet one. Like that was only like 2 Scottish guys versus the whole of England. Do you know what I mean? That's all that was.
That's what I heard.
It was just some guy and his wife.
Robert the Bruce and Dave.
Factual Bayeux tapestry would have been really boring, but the arrow in the eye, it was a bit of glamour towards the end, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just saw Slinnigan's in the chat. Hey, Slin.
Horses, who's good at knitting arrows? Get him quickly at that, you know. Add a bit of drama towards the end. We'll write it down and it'll be true.
The one time the story that changed that I didn't like was, if you remember the old 70s cartoon of Lord of the Rings, Boromir gets pierced by like 1,000 arrows. He only took 3 in the movie. Come on, Sean Bean, you can do better than that.
A sharp again.
There's
something Freudian with a sharp at this sharp.
I can't stop. I love him.
I think you should paint one with at least 27 arrows in it.
I will do. But yeah, I have no strong opinions for and against when it comes to female custodians. I think if it looks cool, it looks cool. If it adds to the story. If it gets more people involved in the hobby, even better. If it gets some really uptight arseholes out the hobby, well, that's that. But you don't have. I mean, this is the thing that I still struggle with myself, that we force ourselves to follow a set of rules that's just been made up by someone else who's paid to make it up.
Yeah.
We can make up our own stories as well. We can diverge away from that. If I wanted to, I could carry on playing 5th edition Warhammer, because I've got all the armies for it still. I've still got models up in the attic that are based for it. I can play 7th edition 40k because I've got the rule books for that. I just choose weirdly to use the new edition because that seems like, it must be better. But actually, when you start playing the games, you realise some of the older ones are far better.
There's something great about D&D, isn't there? Make it up as you go along.
Yeah.
I like that.
Absolutely.
And especially with your war bands and stuff, like tying into that. Like back to the Red Sonja thing, you know, it doesn't have to be what it is on the box. I've done Horror Marines, whatever. It's nice to think outside of the box, but still make it applicable to the game. It can be painted different, but you can still use the same rules, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's game to do that, which I think you do as well.
Well, sorry,
No, I was going to say, I'm a huge fan of Red Sonja. Let's talk about Red Sonja film. I suspect Red Sonja will probably have more trousers on in the later films. I like Red Sonja in a chainmail bikini. Both me and Suggs are big fans of Red Sonja and Hyborean Adventures with Conan, because it's sword and sorcery. It's a style, but I know as time goes on, people are like, could they not wear like trousers? I'm like, well, I suppose they could. It's more practical, but
let's forget about Deathstalker and Deathstalker 2.
Yeah.
Over time, definitely.
It's fine. I accept it. It's, move with the times. We've got to move with the times. It's the way of the world.
We've definitely had a few discussions. I've had a few discussions with people on good old Instagram about the whole female custodies, and I'm like, look, I don't really give a shit anyway. I'm never going to paint or play custodies, do you know what I mean? But it's just good to wind people up. But if my point is to people is, if it inspires one wee lassie to come up with our own law, with our own champion, then that's what it's all about. And also, if the custodies thing goes pretty well, we're going to see female Space Marines, guarantee you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's this whole argument that female Space Marines will never happen, but they did happen in the 80s because they made them. But they were called, and this is like the argument I keep hearing, people are like, well, actually, I think you'll find they're called female space adventurers. I was like, yeah, because at the time they were all called space adventurers because Space Marines hadn't really been titled as that. They were all rogue trader. They were all made up. It was like people in spacesuits and power armor working for rogue traders and all sorts of like nonsense. And it was just a bit of fun. but it panned out. No one bought them, so that's why.
Re-release the Eldar Marine. We'd all buy it, definitely.
Yeah. And if they make female Space Marines, see what I think would be the right thing to do. I've got an opinion. I'll talk about another example where if you do it right, then it's no one cares. Well, I certainly don't care, even if you don't do it right. But like for me, I think Space Marines should look a little bit like the engineers from Prometheus, because they've been so done with like all these drugs, and it's like some archaic device that they should have no real sort of, like, they're almost like genderless features because of all like the things they go through. They're 8 foot tall. They've had all these drugs pumped into them. They've got like so many different organs added in. So if like all of the Space Marines looked a little bit like the faces of the engineers from and different skin tones obviously, but that kind of like weird sort of, not they all look the same. They're all very weird.
It's all definitely.
Yeah, and you had ever so slightly more feminine cheekbones for like almost the females that have had all the drugs pumped into them still, but they're still stacked. Because I've seen plenty of strong females with like big muscles, bigger than like mine, and I won't mess with them. So I know they can probably wear power armor. And yes, we have Sisters of Battle, but they're just like warrior nuns with power armor. They're not super soldiers like Space Marines. So
Yeah,
I have no strong opinions.
When people say that, then you hear, "Oh, we're going to have the Brotherhood of Monks."
Yeah,
probably.
Misters of Battle is what I've been hearing of late. Misters of Battle. But yeah, I mean,
you get full range of Necromunda as well, don't you? I mean, like in other facets, like whether it's Blood Bowl, Warcry, any of the skirmish games, it's just 40k, isn't it? I mean, let's have it right. If you concentrate what people are talking about, it's a very small part in a very inclusive universe, isn't it? And I mean, everybody's included everywhere else. It's just, there isn't a female custodian or a female Space Marine, but there's female everything else, isn't there?
Yeah, Stormcasts are perfect because
everything else.
I mean, they started off as like all male warriors for the Stormcast, and I actually prefer the fact that they changed them. I know like lots of people are like going, "Oh my god, my army is no longer usable," which is bad. They should still keep the rules for all the units. I don't see why you'd supersede it, because the Liberator is the Liberator. It doesn't matter which model you're using. But I started converting my own Liberators using the Thunderstrike stuff, because you had like the Vindictors, the Vigilers, and all that, and I was just like mixing parts because I like the idea of like, having a sword and a shield, but weirdly with the Thunderstrike you don't have that option, so I did converting. But they're a good mix of male and female. No one cares.
No one cares. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's like a non-point, isn't it?
Space Marines, they're just so sacred for everybody, aren't they? I suppose.
Yeah, it's bonkers. It's bonkers world we live in, but someone's got to be angry about it. And half the time I just wonder if they actually are true hobbyists. Some of these people that get really angry if they're just jumping on a bandwagon because it's cool. It does make me wonder, because I've been in the hobby for years. You guys have clearly all been in the hobby for years. None of you care. Most of the people I talk to that are long-serving hobbyists also don't care. So I do wonder where these people are coming from, getting really riled up about it. And I know, I get this, there are a lot of people on the autism spectrum. My son is, and they do not like change. I get that. There is an element of and a lot of our customers, including myself, I've been told I've got ADHD and all sorts. Don't believe it. I'm me. I've always been me, and maybe I do have this. I don't know. But I'm just me, and I just accept the fact that I like painting toy soldiers in all shapes and sizes. I like women. I like painting women toy soldiers. I like painting men ones.
With arrows in him.
And lots with arrows in them.
Yeah, Sharp, especially. Yeah.
I do want to do a video, right, about Sharp or Sean Bean in every video, every movie he's been, and just do a video where they're all dead, apart from Sharp. Just convert all these characters from all these movies. Like, so I'm going to paint Eddard Stark now. We're just going to snip the head off. There we go. Okay, I'm painting.
Well, how would you do any given Saturday? When Saturday comes.
When Saturday comes,
Oh yeah.
And the film, and the one where he plays twins in it as well. You ever watch that one where he plays twins?
I don't remember the twins one, but I do remember when Saturday comes, so all I do is get a Sabuto figure and stick Barmaid's head on.
Be unbalanced.
There is a film where I think it's the guy that plays Thor or the guy that plays Captain Kirk. It's one of those two that's in it, and basically they steal this suitcase of money, and Sean Bean hunts him down, and then Sean Bean dies, but it turns out he's got a twin brother who then starts hunting them down. That's a pretty good film.
Oh, I need to see this. This sounds great. I'm not aware of this movie.
It's like it gives you the best of both worlds. He doesn't die, but he also does die.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Ah, so it's like a sort of like a weird paradox, really. It's like he dies, but he doesn't die.
Yeah.
The BTO quote, I mean, snip that and post it. Brilliant. Spear figure, snip it, put Boromir's head on it. Done.
I mean, that's how I did my very first
Follow me.
40k sharp. I just got Sean Bean's head, just stuck it on like an Empire figure, and made like a weird sort of henchman for a Inquisitor warband, and I was just like, yeah, that's Sean Bean in 40k, done it.
Done.
Because
Another.
There you go. It's called Cat.
It basically was just an Inquisitor in the Napoleonic times. He went about with that Irish dude and the two other crazy looking people in Sharp after his entire regiment get wiped out. So he basically was an Inquisitor, just and he murdered Sean Pertwee, didn't he? No. Oh, yeah, man. What was his name again? He was
I just love hearing you say murdered. It's just taking me back to Taggart. Then I just love the way you say murder.
He was in The Usual Suspects and
I don't know.
Not Kevin Spacey.
Brassed Off. He was in Brassed Off. What was his name?
Impossible Fight.
Aye. He got him murdered.
Road Hakeswell. Yeah.
There you go. We got there.
Over to you, because you've not spoken about 4 days.
So someone in the chat has said that the film is called Cash with the dollar sign instead of an S. There you go.
The parody.
I'll check it out. Thank you for that. I want to see this. I did get shared a little sort of I guess poster of all the films that Sean Bean's died in, but it's like a lot of black and white cutouts of all the different poses and how he's died in every of these movies. And there's like 18 where he just gets shot. It's like in this film he gets shot in the face, and this film he gets shot in the gut. It's like, oh my god. It's a weird one where
Patriot
stabs him.
Games were against
Patriot
games are against done with the anchor. Yeah.
And not just an anchor. It's an anchor and then crashes into rocks and the boat explodes. That is like
in Silent
just
Hill. He didn't die, but his career died when he did an American accent.
He's got a really bad American accent in Cat. What was the film that he was in where he said he was an SAS soldier and it was with Robert De Niro? What was that one?
Ronin.
Ronin.
Yeah. I think it's
Ronin. Yeah. He's in it.
They talk about what's the colour of the boat at Hereford. The boathouse in Hereford, what colour is it painted or something like that? It's like, oh no, and storms on. Made a colour up.
He's in it for like 2 minutes. So all this Sean Bean chat, let's move on to something I was we love it. I ran up to you at Salute and I was pissed and I said hello to you and you must have been looking at me like, who the fuck is this? But
I didn't recognise you. It's just like I was like, where do I recognise you from? It took me a minute. A good minute.
But so do you, given all the events that you do and PeachCon coming soon, potentially, everything's going on, do you find it weird being a celebrity in like a small little niche thing? Because there's no other way of putting it. You know, I walked past the Duncan Road stall and bless him, he was trapped and he was signing autographs with people.
I was going to ask.
So does it? Yeah, does it? I didn't get your autograph, Rich. I just had Rob flip your paint over. But
you know, and you'll be queuing with the rest of
it. Has it not like set in that people come to these things because you're there? They want to meet you. They want to like have a picture with you.
I do think I think I've been lucky because I've had like a slow sort of like journey of it, because like I worked in the studio for a time, so you know initially like my face was in White Dwarf, so like the odd person will like go, oh, you did that on me in White Dwarf, so kind of used to that. And I think if I step back even further, when I used to manage and work in the Derby store, you'd be out and about in town and you'd see someone there, be like, oh, Peachy, hey, how you doing? So it feels a bit like that. It doesn't feel, I don't feel like a celebrity or I feel like a superstar or anything like that. It's never been the case for me. It's just like, it just reminds me of those times when instead of me being in the retail store talking to a customer and then later on seeing him in Derby City Centre, it's more I've done a thing, feels like I'm doing my job, and then people just recognize me later on. And half the time, I don't even think they're looking for me. I think they're looking for someone else, or they're just like asking for directions. So half the time, I'm just like, uh-oh, what are they going to ask? Are they going to be begging me for like money for the bus home
Can
or
I have
something like that?
some free stuff?
Yeah. But I'm kind of, it's part of the job. And for me, I'm very aware that if I'm in their shoes, because for me, what people don't see, and I've mentioned this on like, I think this latest episode of Jugs, is I might be on my way to the toilet because I'm bossed in for a pee, right? But to them, they don't know that. And to them, they don't know I've stood and stopped 20 times. So every time someone stops and talks to me, it has to be that first time for them. I can't just go, sorry. I might have to go, I'm really busy. I'm going to pee if I don't go. If you just wait here, I'll come and find you in a second or two. I've had to do that a couple of times. But otherwise, I am literally at a point where I'm going to start leaking down my trousers because it's been that long. Because I drink a lot of tea, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's a double-edged sword, really, drinking all that tea. But yeah, it's I'm kind of used to it. It's part of the job, and also being a professional in the environment that, I should stop and talk to everyone anyway. If they wanted to chat to me about something, then, it's part of the duty of the kind of role that we do. If that makes sense. I'm going to turn some light on here, turn my TV screen because it's gone real dark here all of a sudden. That's a bit better. And yeah, it's still weird when people stop and talk to me. I still find it odd. I mean, like every now and again, I'll drop my lad off to school, and like there'll be like a new parent that recognises me, or like a kid from school that'll be like, "Oh, it's that guy from the TV." I'm like, can't be talking about me. I guess it's not really sunk in, I suppose, as well. Like I always think they're talking about someone else. So like Salute, I was with Suggs. Naturally, they're here to talk to Louise, not me. I'm just some Eggman who like paints random videos. She's far more important and does lots more videos that are far more wider reaching than this little egg guy painting a Sean Bean figure in like rifleman outfits. Why would anyone watch that guy? But it is weird, and I think I've been lucky that I've been in a professional environment over the years to temper the ego to a certain point as well. Some people struggle, I think, with the ego side of it. But yeah,
you find though that people expect you, like, as though they kind of own you a wee bit, like they feel as though you're obligated to speak to them. Then,
yeah, I mean, I do, because it's a service, right? Because if they're taking the time to watch my videos and be aware of who I am and care enough to stop and talk to me, then I should care enough to do the same thing as well and reciprocate that. And even if it is to say, I hate your videos, you're an idiot, honestly, I'd have more respect, because I'd be like, well, at least you didn't put in the comments. You've actually, had the guts to say it to my face. But next time, put in the comments as well, because it adds to the algorithm. But, so do both, please. Thanks for the engagement. But yeah, I mean, if someone does have like, strong opinions, as long as they're not trying to, hurt anybody, I don't mind. I always try and talk to people, be open about it.
I mean, touching on that as well, like when you're doing it professionally and you're doing content all the time and you're talking to people and everything's a video, it's a tutorial, it's, do you get do you have a bit of downtime? Do you ever paint something that you're not going to use for a tutorial? Do you have like a break? So it's like, if I've done a big project or I've finished something, I tend to hit something from the 80s or 90s because it's sort of nostalgic, a quick win. It's not my finest work, but it's just a bit of me time. Do you have the same? Is there something you go to when you're not being peachy tips online?
Yeah.
Do you get a modelling you time?
I do. I mean, some of it rolls into the videos I'm doing as well. Like, I did the War the Roses figures, or like the models in the theme of the War the Roses armor. And after I did that one figure that was to look like my armor, I was like, oh, I want to do some more. So I started doing. It just like I got really excited because I discovered a speedy way of painting them, and really enjoyed it. And so I did 8 more. Then I suddenly discovered Frostgrave, and I was like, I could use them in Frostgrave. I just need to get a wizard now. That's fun. Now I've gone down a new rabbit hole of stuff. So I have loads of projects. The other thing I like doing is I've got these 6-scale figures, so I like to repaint things on those. I'm waiting for a Cosca Reeve body to turn up, because I know there's a loose website. and Cosca Reeve, they sell like bodies with the armor on and the undersuit and stuff like that. But it's like dirt cheap without the heads and like the belt, but I can make my own belt. And I'm going to repaint the armor and do a Super Commando. So I'm going to do them in red because you can take all the armor panels off, you can spray them. I've got, this is like super downtime for Peachy. Sword and Sorcery, random lady. Completely repainted the face, and I gave her a chainmail skirt. So that's just like using chains. So I just painting, superposable. It's not my sex doll. Don't worry before people start getting about it. But yeah, painted the face. That's all hand painted. So I don't know if you can see it particularly well, but yeah, that's another hobby I like, and I probably might do a video on stuff like that where painting larger stuff is interesting. There's almost like a different skill set required. And a lot of the time, just a spray paint would do it because the light does all the work for you. So when you take a photo, and you can do like a bit of chipping and stuff like that, but yeah, the light does all the photo. My kid thinks I've got Barbies, and he's probably right.
It's great. It's as much fun as well. It's like, it's great. It's not content. It's like, when you get the downtime, it turns into content. You're still doing what you want to do, and you can see that as well, definitely. Yeah,
definitely. Sometimes, drawing as well. I don't do enough of that, but when I do find some time, I like to sit and draw and write stories for gaming as well, like narratives. I've got that many Warcry, Silver Bayonet, Necromunda like scenarios and story threads written that I could probably fill a year's worth of content with the amount of stories I've done that all link off to do other things, and now have like another story going off elsewhere. I'm like, I should just probably start filming and making my own little choose your own adventure set of videos or something like that. That would be quite good fun. I might look at that. See how practical that is. Probably not.
Bad shout for YouTube. Doesn't seem like, your two windows. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Boom, boom. Oh, you're dead. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, one of them things, remember them pictures you used to draw as a kid where one of you drew a head, one of you folded it over, then one of you draw a body. Maybe we could all send each other a model. Do you know what I mean? You paint the body. It looked like a bad acid trick, but the narrative for it'd just be Spanish, wouldn't it?
It would. Or Nurgle. Or just said, Zinch. It could be anything. It would fit all the Chaos Gods, I'm sure of it. Literally fit all of it. Yeah.
So talking about bad acid trips, Richard on screen here likes to have Quaver crisp sandwiches with salad cream. What weird combination of crisp sandwich do you partake in?
So, I like beetroot and salad cream. I've had it plenty of times. It's not quite a sandwich, but I do get a lot of stick for it. But I really like the taste. Because pancakes, right? A pancake on its own is neither savoury nor sweet, right? It's just somewhere in the middle. What you add to it makes it either savoury or sweet.
Don't say tomato ketchup. Yeah. Please do not say tomato ketchup.
No. I'm going to go far more superior than that. I'm going to say brown sauce.
Brown sauce. Oh, man, right. Put that in the top 3 of weird things, right? My Quaver and crisp sandwich, fine. But that, pancake and brown sauce, I'm not being the only weirdo here. I'm joint first with Peachy. And I'll take that all day. I mean, both equally weird.
You can't declare yourself joint first with Peachy. Nobody eats salad cream and Quavers in a sandwich.
Oh, mate, the brown sauce pancake.
Amazing.
You need to start asking people about that, not just about my quick sandwich.
I'm not a big fan of brown sauce, but I imagine if you have a bit of bacon with that, that might be all right.
Add some bacon to my sandwich. It's equally as cool. That pancake is weird. Stop backing him up.
It's a salad cream. It's salad cream.
Brown sauce and a pancake. All right. Peachy's pancake is normal. Brilliant. All agreed. I'm not having it.
There's always something in me.
Deeply upset by this. That is weird.
There's always something in me that triggers people.
But I like it. I'm going to try
it. Tasty. Honestly.
So you obviously you like your biking, and you obviously it's now coming at the season where you start doing your biking. Now, back in the day, there was obviously a couple of massive shows that featured bikes. Now we had Sons of Anarchy, Mayans, Chips, and Street Hawk. what of those 4 shows would you have liked to have appeared in?
I love this is painful now. I love it.
I've seen Sons of Anarchy. I like Sons of Anarchy, but there's something about Street Hawk. I want a motorcycle that can like shoot rockets, or not rockets, but like super boost into the air and do like weird sort of stunts and stuff like that. And I always used to love his tracksuit. I don't know if it was a tracksuit or if it was like I don't think it was a set of leathers, but I definitely remember it being like having like white stripes on it or whatever. But I think that's because it was the era of Airwolf and like Knight Rider.
The only time we really missed was a boat, like a super boat, like street boat or something. Do you know what I mean?
Well, was going to change his name to High Street Hammer, so we'll go for High Street Boat. Yeah. Pounding the cost of living on a regular basis.
There was a boat one, and it had Hulk Hogan in it.
Thunder
Paradise.
Yes, there you go.
Thunder in Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise. Thunder in Paradise.
Yes, Tropic Thunder's a different thing, but there you go. We completed it.
Do you remember?
We completed it.
The Street Arc bike, you could buy like there was 2 sizes, so it was like a BMX type thing, and it had like a thing on the handlebars, and when you pressed it, it like had and it had like Trimax on it, and it was the Street Arc bike you could buy from Halfords, and there was like an adult version and a kids version, and it came with all the sound effects on it, and it's like you had to be rich to have one. It's like, I think I had a second-hand chopper or one of them stupid big wheels, but I remember Tarquin from next door, he had a Street Arc. But yeah, Google Street Arc bike, mega.
Yeah. Hang on, stop.
I mean, I ride one now.
There was an adult version.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm 5'5", maybe it wasn't. But you could get 2 sizes, and the bigger one had more sound effects on it. I'm not joking. This is a bad dream. The Street Arc bike, and you could probably get the tracksuit to match if you searched hard.
Oh yeah.
Just to let you know, Peachy.
Tracksuit, send it.
Just to let you know, Peachy, do you remember the TV show Funhouse? Richard was on that as a child.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I did terribly.
Yeah.
I lost really badly. I won an Atari Lynx, a puffer jacket, and some high-techs with fire on the back.
I used
to watch that.
An Atari Lynx.
I mean, it's probably shaped my personality as it is, which is stay indoors and paint and ignore everybody.
Is Pat Sharp still a goodie, or has he turned out to be one of the baddies? Is he still a goodie, Pat Sharp?
I think he's all right.
He's all right.
Yeah.
He was too busy trying to fire into the twins, let's be honest.
I mean, I'm going to keep quiet about the twins.
Good childhood memories, yeah?
It's liable, I'm sure. Anyway, get me a Street Arc.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to follow on with one from Dunk there, and this is something that we chatted about the other day with our last guest on Darkened Wings on Instagram. Irrational fears. What is your irrational fear?
You see, I have a normal fear, which is because I can't swim, I don't like water, I can't see the bottom of. I'm all right with water I can see the bottom of because I can see it, but water I can't see the bottom of freaks me out. So if I walk past a canal, even though it's not very deep, I get petrified. So I don't know if that counts, but an irrational fear. I guess.
Sean Bean dying in full manner.
Red sauce on pancakes, not fat. No. I don't know. I don't think I've got one. Yeah, I suppose it is irrational. It does freak me out, but I don't know why, but since having a child and having like nieces and nephews, they're obsessed with trying to pull my eyes out of my head. They're literally like they're always like sticking hands in my face trying to grab my eyeballs, and I don't understand what it is, and it really freaks me out, and I don't like it.
Rational. That's rational.
That is quite rational actually. Yeah, I don't know.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Do I have an irrational fear?
If it was someone else's kids, it might be.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, I've got one actually. Yes, just like brain juice is going. So I have telling me I've only got like 10% battery remaining. I've plugged you in. Why is it doing this? It's all right. It's fine. Will be enough. Just to put it back in and then. So I think my connection on the phone's a bit weird. So yeah, I have night nightmares about public toilets being filled to the brim with urine and poop, and I have to sit on the toilet and do my business on it, and I don't want to because it's just full of wee and poop, and I don't know why, but that's like I wake up in cold sweats when that happens in a dream. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just like it's just a big like ick of mine. Is that rational fear? Or is that just like practical thinking? I don't know.
No, I get that because like, see if you do a poop in a public toilet, and yeah, sometimes it like splashes back onto your ring. Oh, that makes me so uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. You mean Poseidon's kiss or Neptune's kiss?
Yeah.
Right. One of my mates. This is one of my mates. It's not me. He says that if there's like shit on a toilet and it's not his, he won't piss it off because it feels like he's touching someone else's shit. You know, that's irrational, isn't it?
That's like, Ghostbusters. You got to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's weird, isn't it? That is weird.
Yeah. I mean,
like, you get it? Do you get it? I'm like, no, absolutely not. I don't get it. And we're not friends anymore.
I mean, we don't.
Like,
yeah, it's not like you're paid for it. I don't know.
It's not like you paid for it.
Right. Follow on from that then.
Yeah, quickly. Move on quickly.
Follow on to the irrational fear. Dunk up there's been a bit quiet for this one, and I'll openly say my irrational fear is ladybirds. They're fucking horrible. I've broken Rip again. Right, Dunk's irrational. Dunk's like you. He doesn't like going swimming in the bottom of water. He can't see because of chores, like fucking sharks and stuff. Right, that makes sense. But he also doesn't like wasps. So he said on Sunday stream that the worst thing that could happen to him is a hybrid wasp shark together.
Oh. You could never go swimming and you could never go outside your house ever again. Imagine that, you hear that buzzing and all you see is teeth coming towards you. Oh.
What?
I watched it.
Go on. Sorry. No, go on. No, I was going to ask. Go on.
On you go. No,
right.
on you go.
Okay, right. What is the worst two combination of animals for you that would shit you up?
So I think spider, because I like spiders because they eat the flies right, which is fine when they keep to themselves and they're like UK spiders and they're tiny and they're not a problem. But spiders with wings, because they're mobile now and they can go anywhere. Because at least with a spider, you know, you could probably like put it in like put like a cup over it and it can't move. But when it's got wings and they're like got the attributes of a fly, they move faster than what spiders normally move. So I don't like the or spider babies coming out of the womb as spiders with spider legs crawling away.
That's Father Ted. Yeah, in one of the episodes of Father Ted, Dougal's talking about a spider baby that's like the body of a spider but the mind of a baby.
Well, I mean, I could see that. I mean, there's two of us now that agree that that's bad. So, spiders freak me out. I don't like spiders, but like faster spiders would certainly, especially if they're big. Yeah, that's three things. Dogs.
See, I like spiders. I don't mind spiders, right? And then I went to Belize because if you don't know.
Oh, I need to put some more light on, don't I? It's getting real dark.
That's my stand glass. Why have I got that facing that way? Come back.
Oh no.
There we go.
Hey.
What happened there? That was a bit weird.
Yeah.
It just everybody froze and then it cut out. But I shared the previous video.
Nice.
But I've
cool.
invited everybody back. I don't know what happened there. Everybody froze and it cut out.
No.
It's Instagram.
I don't know if it's a time thing or whatever. I don't know. But I've shared the last video, so it's in the ether.
Cool, that's fine. We can just do what we do and mash them together for the YouTube later on. We've got our own great editing stuff. It's brilliant. It's called Dunk's Teenage Son, and he sorts it all out.
Awesome.
I think the internet had enough of you, Richard, and your fucking nonsense.
Hey, mate, I'm the only one that could host it tonight, so let's have it right.
Yeah.
For me, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you've got
I've shared it anyway. I've shared that past video, so it's in the ether, done.
So I was going to say, right, I like spiders. I don't mind spiders, right? And then I went to Belize and I was doing like if you don't know, I used to be in the army, right? And I was in Belize. I was doing an exercise in Belize, and we were doing the jungle thing, and there was these things called bird-eating spiders. Oh, Jesus Christ. It was like
The jungle thing.
horror show. It's like, so somebody turned the lights off and then turned the volume up to 12. It was horrendous. Never slept for the first 4 nights. Absolutely shit myself. One of the boys get bit. He took his boots off. He'd like to put his boot to check his boots and get bit twice in the foot with spiders as well. It was brilliant.
Oh
It's
my God.
It was
Join
brilliant.
the army.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shark wasps. Nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
Shark wasp.
That's a skirmish game waiting to
It
happen,
is.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Shark Wasp boarding campaign.
Yeah.
Like,
Shark wasps.
like when my son, like I would leave a room for a wasp. Even now, I would leave a room for a wasp. And when my son was like 4 months old, this wasp flew into his pram. I left him to fight it. Fight or die, son. That was it. Couldn't handle that. Couldn't do it.
Can I do my
I agree. Let my kid go on that hill. So where were we? So we had irrational fears, worst combination of animals, and then let's lighten the mood a little bit with what is your favourite pie filling?
Oh yeah.
Ooh. I quite like chicken and mushroom. Big fan of chicken and mushroom. Steak and kidney's pretty good. Yeah, I'll go with chicken and mushroom. If it's on the menu and there's others, I'd normally default to that. Don't know why. Like chicken and I like mushrooms.
We're going to try
Simple.
breakfast one.
What's
the breakfast question? If you had to omit one item from a breakfast, what would it be?
Oh, one item. Take one item away.
Yeah.
Oh, easy. The silly sort of like fried tomato that can get in the bin. No one eats that. I like my tomatoes cold and like juicy, not weird and fried. So yeah, that can go. If that's not part of it, then that'll be tough. That'll be hard after that. Maybe toast. Maybe French toast.
I've got my head stuck now for the last hour since you mentioned it. Was you doing a Ross Kemp Necromunda gang weekly show? This week on Necromunda, I'm going down to level 15 with bloody blah. No, I'm shitting myself.
Do you want me to do the accent, considering I'm from London? Would that be a bit easier? Fucking fuck. Jesus Christ.
It was amazing.
But it's a fair point, because like, if you did this show and you're doing it, you could quite easily just sit there, right, and I'm gonna fucking go down here and there's a right naughty bastard. And I'm mixing Ross Kemp and Danny Dyer together here right now, because the Danny Dyer one was also quality.
Perfect mix. Yeah, I'm not quite sure I'm going to go about doing it yet, but I may avoid putting a voice on just in case I offend folks.
Oh, with ice white trotters on. Put my ice white trotters on.
I like it.
That's fine.
We don't know drug dealers.
There was one other thing that you mentioned on the Drugs podcast as well, where we're talking about your projects and stuff that are coming up, and that is your mix of 30k, 40k black powder.
Yeah.
Which to me sounds really interesting, because I always like the idea of what, as a phrase I coined, of hobby sustainability, where you're going out of your way, you're finding things that are just alternatives, so you're not having to spend loads of money, you're not having to break your bank, and you don't need 50,000 minis or 10,000 different types of paint. Do you feel that there is the scope across all the different companies' ranges that they're out there, like your Warlord Games, Games Workshops, all the other little ones, that does exist, that you can just say, you know what, I want to have a Napoleonic army, but I like the look of these guys, so I'm going to nick this from there, that from there, and I'm going to stick them together, and that's it.
Yeah. It's interesting because there's a lot of companies that do a lot of stuff that's the same scale. So if I was to get like Perry Miniatures, Victrix, Warlord Games, get like other random plastic companies like the guys that do the Frostgrave stuff, or Oathmark, or Fireforge, they're all very samey in their scale and size. Even Lord of the Rings as well, I suppose, because it is that 28mm scale. So you can kit bash those till the cows come in, because they're so interchangeable. It's when it moves to like the larger scale stuff, like slightly more heroic scale, like you couldn't really get away with using arms from a Napoleon. Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
That wasn't me. You vanished, I think. I don't know why.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
he said you left. I don't know
Oh.
why, but we're back. We're back.
It says live stream has ended. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, what's going on? This is bizarre.
Hang on, get
I wonder potentially if it's because my battery's running low. Even though I've got it all plugged in and stuff, it seems to slowly but surely be going down, not up, which is a bit weird. Maybe because Instagram Live is quite, I don't know,
it's not
battery intensive.
Yeah, it's not letting me accept the other guys. One sec.
Oh no. Hello everybody. Hey Daz. Hope you're well. See Daz Maul in the chat.
Let me see if I can invite. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's saying unable to join. Come on, guys.
Huh?
Just stop showing my TV.
Oh, there we go.
There.
We've got a dunk.
He's wearing his camouflage. He's using his military.
Like some curtains, like one of those Space Marine cloaks.
Where is Dunk? Is he the curtains? Is he
the sofa? Harry Potter.
Oh, I need to leave. I need to leave and come. Oh, there I am. It wouldn't let me turn the camera around there for some mental reason. It's showing.
It does that.
We had our granddaughter up. We had our granddaughter up there for 4 days, and the house is just covered in fucking Barbies now.
Amazing.
Trying to get Penge back. Give me a sec. He's requested accept. Come on.
So the sooner we can get this on YouTube, the better. But I just don't know how to add somebody as a co-host and then invite a guest in, because we're able to invite a guest in yesterday, but we can only have one guest. But you need to make somebody a co-host. So I think we'll just try to figure that out, and then we'll try and.
Oh, well, that was.
I mean, the timing. Oh, the timing. Absolutely perfect.
Well. I mean, like PeachCon's going to happen. I know we touched on it earlier, so that will be happening at some point. So my plan is to do it at the end of August. It's for patrons only at the moment. Maybe next year I'll open it up to more people. But yeah, Peach Hammer is definitely a thing. And yeah, I guess I'll be learning how to run an event, which will be fun. He's back.
We're back.
Is he the cushion this time, or is he the
TV? We've got it on 2 screens now. We've got a dunk and a curtain.
I have no idea what's going on. This Instagram's just being a bright pig at the minute, isn't it? Worse than usual.
Well, Peachy, I've got a little game. Let's round this up with my little game. Just a bit of fun.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called Peach or Not Peach.
Okay.
So I'm going to reel off some types of peaches. You need to tell me whether it's a type of peach or it isn't.
Okay.
What's that? We've only got 8. It's a bit of fun. So we'll start with the first one. Arctic Supreme. Is it a peach?
You see, I don't know my peaches very well. Honestly, that sounds like it could be a peach.
It's a peach.
It's a peach. It's a peach.
Number 2.
Number
Midsummer.
2. Midsummer. That's the place where people get murdered a lot. So not a peach.
Not a peach. It's a horror film where people get murdered a lot. Correct. Number 3. Bonanza 2.
Bonanza 2. It sounds like a planet somewhere in the Orion system. So I'm going to say not a peach.
It is a peach.
Oh.
Not a sequel to the 80s American drama. So number 4. There's only 8. I won't put you through too many. Vanilla Drop.
Vanilla Drop.
Yeah.
Does again plausible? Never.
We're saying peach.
I'm going to say yes. It's a peach.
No, it's a Green Stuff World paint.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Get your plug in, bloody hell.
Well, orange leather.
What's that? Sorry, orange leather. Orange leather. Well, I like leather. I like orange.
Yeah.
I'm a peach. Surely it's a peach.
It's a scale 75 paint.
Oh.
And then one for you, Frost.
Frost.
Yeah.
Just Frost. Clearly a peach. It's peach because it can survive the frost.
It's definitely a peach. And then we'll speed this up. The last one, crisp peach.
No, definitely not a peach. Definitely
it's a bit of both. It's a trick question.
Yeah. It's a nectarine. It used to be a peach, but more of a nectarine now.
Correct. Yes.
So yeah.
As long as it's not an easy peel.
Yeah, an easy peel, definitely. Easy peel. Yeah.
We like easy peels. move.
So, Dunk, have you got anything else?
What are you currently working on?
Well, like you were saying about the 40k projects and scale and stuff like that, that's like going off in the background at the moment. So I've got this wild plan of making a 40k army using Napoleonics and making Imperial Guard, but also doing it in such a way that I can build it and use it for Black Powder as well. So if you've never played Black Powder, you have to like build your army in a set way. You have to have like a general, and then you have to decide how many brigades you're taking. So your opponents, usually it's like 3 to 5 brigades. In a brigade, it could be like anywhere between 3 units to 5 units.